What if I told you that conscious experience, that rich, vivid world inside of your head, isn't what it seems? That your sense of self, your free will, and even your perception of time itself are just clever tricks played by evolution? This is the unsettling idea at the heart of Daniel Dennett's philosophy. He doesn't just ask what consciousness is, he asks whether it is anything at all. For centuries, we've imagined consciousness as a kind of theater, a place where experience happens, where we watch the world unfold inside of our minds. Dennett disagrees. He calls this idea the Cartesian theater, a misleading metaphor that assumes that there is a central self somewhere in the brain observing everything. But if you look inside of the brain, you won't find a seat, a screen, or an observer, just neurons firing, constantly filtering and assembling bits of information. Dennett's alternative? The multiple drafts model. Instead of a single unified experience, our brain generates competing versions of reality, fragments of perception scattered across different processes. There's no single moment when consciousness happens, just a collection of mental narratives pieced together after the fact. It feels seamless, but that's the trick.
Nothing makes fucking sense. Life makes no sense. You're on a planet right now. You think you're in America? Zoom out. You're on a space rock floating in nothingness, infinite nothingness, and the infinite nothingness is expanding. That means endlessness is getting bigger. That makes no fucking sense. We all just act like it's normal. Like, oh, everything's made of molecules. Okay. Got it. I'll never think about that again. I'm made of molecules, you're made of molecules, the air between us, it's all made of molecules. That makes no fucking sense. These molecules know they're molecules. These molecules are like, oh, I'm Pete. That doesn't make any sense.
But if consciousness is a story, what about time?
Sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older.
Most of us assume that time flows smoothly. We picture ourselves moving through it, moment by moment, as if experience was unfolding in real time. Dennett, however, argues that time, at least as we perceive it, is an illusion. Our brains don't record reality in a continuous stream. They take scattered snapshots, processing them out of order, stitching them into a coherent timeline after the fact. Experiments in neuroscience support this. When you react to a stimulus, your brain often fills in the details retroactively, creating the sense that you've experienced something slightly before you actually did. The world feels instantaneous, but in reality there's always a slight delay. A lag that the brain covers up with a clever trick, rewriting the past before we even realize it. So what is time to us? Not an objective flow, but a reconstruction. A product of the same mental processes that generate consciousness itself. And if time is just a mental construct, what about free will? Are we really in control? Or are we just watching ourselves act? Dennett rejects the idea of an absolute metaphysical free will, the kind where we could have done otherwise in an identical situation. But he also rejects strict determinism, the idea that we're just mindless machines obeying physics. Instead, he argues for compatibilism, the idea that free will isn't about escaping causality, but about acting according to reasons without coercion. Imagine a computer playing chess. It doesn't have a soul, but it still chooses to make moves according to its programming and inputs. Dennett says that's enough. Human free will is like that. Not an escape from physics, but an evolved ability to reason, reflect, and adapt. In short, we are complex decision-making machines, not mystical agents outside of the chain of cause and effect. Dennett's ideas are unsettling because they strip away our deepest intuitions. They challenge the idea that we are the authors of our thoughts, the pilots of our minds, the conscious agents at the helm of our lives. But perhaps this is not a loss, it's a revelation. If our sense of self is a construction, then it is a testament to the power of the mind. Not as an observer, but as a storyteller. Our consciousness is not an illusion in the sense of being false, but in the sense of being artfully crafted. A self-portrait painted in real time, refined over millions of years of evolution. But what about time? if it is nothing more than a mental assembly, if every moment is reconstructed instead of experienced in real time, then perhaps our past, our present, and our future are not as separate as they seem. We're not prisoners of a fixed timeline, but the architects of our own experience. And as for free will, if we are not outside of the laws of nature but deeply embedded within them, then our freedom does not come from escaping causality, but from understanding it, by shaping the conditions that shape us. Dennett does not rob us from meaning. He simply asks us to see meaning for what it is, not something given, but something made. And perhaps, in knowing that, we are more free than ever before.